too much? At Turner Security, we have your solution.
Attention to the individual with a backpack. You are in a restricted area and need to leave immediately.
Video monitoring with real-time live talk from Turner Security.
Turn to Turner Security.
Rutherford Issues with Brian Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSradio.com.
Rutherford Issues, powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Seriously looking at solar power generation? MTE offers a free consultation with an energy expert and has an entire library of educational resources. You can learn more about that at mte.com/pro-solar. Time to welcome in our friends from Insight Counseling Centers. Pam Brown is here, and we've got a lot to talk about. Pam, first of all, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. I'll let you pull that microphone a little bit closer to you. That way we can hear as well as possible here. So, Insight Counseling Centers, give me your 2-minute elevator speech about what it is and what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you. Insight Counseling Centers provides spiritually informed therapy to individuals, couples, and families. And we have been serving the Rutherford County service area since 1996.
Oh, wow. Under the same name or a different name before?
We were previously, great catch there, we were previously Pastoral Counseling Centers of Tennessee, and we changed our name and did a little rebranding in 2016.
Okay. Because I remembered, all of that history there, and you are actually in downtown Murfreesboro, right?
We are inside of First Baptist Church on East Main Street, and I would love to take this opportunity to thank the church for its hospitality. They are wonderful to us, and a lot of people are served by our counseling offices and our therapists inside that church. So they're a great partner of ours.
Have you been at the church since 96?
Yes.
Okay. Well, great. So that's good to know. What is it that is the drill down of exactly what you do at Insight Counseling Centers? What type of services do you offer? Well,
it is individual, couple, and family therapy, and we serve clients in that church in person, and we also have a telehealth program. We're serving clients throughout the state now, thanks to telehealth. Locally in Rutherford County, 50% of our Rutherford County-based clients are choosing telehealth. So they're telling us that they like the convenience of that. They can get a session in on their lunch hour without having to drive to a place and take extra time and take the longer lunch hour. But it is therapy, spiritually informed counseling.
COVID obviously forced us all to pivot. But that's one of the positive things that seem to have come out of that is the ability for telehealth to be another tool in the tool belt. And let's say a person has to drive 15 minutes to get there and then wait a couple of minutes, then so they could add an extra 30, 40 minutes when they can sit right at their desk or whatnot. And it's all about saving time nowadays, it seems.
It sure is. It all about saving time. And to your point, we had already planned to roll out telehealth. It was in our strategic plan to do so in the fall of 2020. And then here came the pandemic, and so we had to move everything up by about 6 or 7 months. And because we knew the community needed us now more than ever.
And that is just the point. So to be able to serve more efficiently, and I guess it helps you serve more people maybe even, and hopefully that takes a barrier away for folks who really need your services.
It does, and I do want to stress that in-person counseling is still available because we want to meet the client where they are, and if the client prefers in-person, we're going to provide that.
So the clients here in Murfreesboro. Well, let me ask this question first before we drill down specifically. Insight Counseling Centers is not just Murfreesboro based, right?
We have 8 locations in 5 counties, and because of telehealth, again, we're statewide now, and we have served clients in 40 counties total.
Okay, well, great. And how are clients referred to you? Is that through a doctor? Is it reaching out individually, or how does that work?
Most of our clients self-refer. They find us online. We have a really good search engine optimization, and people will put in the keywords affordable counseling, and we pop up. And people do get referred by former clients who were very happy and grateful for the care they received, clergy, healthcare providers. So we get all kinds of referrals, but the majority are self-referred.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say is the difference? I mean, there's obviously counseling in other places. So what makes you different? What approach sets you aside from maybe others?
So our niche is spiritually informed therapy. You've heard me say that a few times. And what that means is the therapist is specially trained. In addition to the clinical training, they are trained in providing spiritually informed care, so that when a client brings questions of a spiritual nature to their therapy, the therapist can walk alongside the client and address that. We serve clients of all faiths. We serve clients who don't claim any faith at all. And our therapists are prepared to, again, meet the client where they are along those lines.
The word affordable, you've mentioned, and if you search affordable counseling, you're one of those first things to pop up. But that affordability also is, I guess, aided by HELP being a nonprofit.
It is. Last year, we served in Rutherford County. We served 239 Rutherford County residents, and we provided 1,705 sessions to them. 89% of those clients relied on our income-based fee scale. And in Rutherford County alone, we provided $98,000 of unreimbursed care. And that is thanks to our donors. Dollars that are raised from Rutherford County stay in the county. I want to particularly thank the United Way of Rutherford and Camden counties for its support, and a host of individual donors who support us.
Now, and by the way, we're talking with Pam Brown today, Insight Counseling Centers. The faith-based community, do you get some support from churches in the area as well that may be referring folks to you?
Yes, and we gratefully receive some financial donations from area churches. We have a newly named giving society called Faith Giving Partners, and that formally recognizes area faith communities that support us financially. And again, in addition to that, First Baptist Murfreesboro also supports us with the space and the generosity of space. Absolutely.
So the program has been established. Are you seeing more and more clients? I mean, are you seeing growth over these last number of years? You gave numbers just a second ago. Are those numbers on par, higher, lower?
Overall, our agency is growing, and here in Rutherford County, that 239 client number I gave you, that was last year, and it represents a 39% increase in Rutherford County clients over 2021.
Ah, well, very good. So more people are receiving that help that need it. Mental health is one of those things that, we just had a news story on just a second ago, about that. And so it's kind of getting a spotlight now maybe we haven't seen. And coming out of COVID, mental health was a big thing. And so it's in the conversation a lot more now. Do you think that's helping drive more people to seek counseling?
I think it's helping to destigmatize mental health needs. I tell the story that back in 2008, I tore my ACL and my meniscus, and it was a huge surgery, lots of rehab after, and not one person stigmatized me over hurting my knee. When someone breaks a bone, they just go get it set, and no one is pointing a finger or whispering at them behind their back. But pre-COVID, when it was a mental health concern, there was a lot of shame and stigma around that. During COVID, we started seeing an uptick in the number of people who reached out, and anecdotally, I heard statements like, "I never thought I would need a counselor." So there was still some shame and kudos to the clients who picked up the phone and reached out for support. They still had a little shame around that. And again, anecdotally, I think that is getting better. I think we, as a society, are showing more grace and compassion to our fellows who are experiencing a mental health concern.
What do you think is behind that stigma? What is it? Just because it's a mental issue? And I mean, maybe your thoughts on why there is a stigma. There's still a stigma, obviously. It is getting better, but why do you think initially, back that few years ago that you mentioned, did people maybe not seek the help that they could use with mental health issues?
Well, I think because it's not really understood. You can go all the way back to the Salem witch trials, and issues were just not understood, and we fear the things that we don't understand. So for a layperson, and again, I'm not a therapist actually. My background is in nonprofit management, and so I'm a layperson to in the mental health field, and we fear what we can't explain. And so those of us who don't have formal training in mental health, we just can't understand why someone can't pull themselves up by their bootstraps and just put on a smile and go out the door and live your life. And in reality, the brain is a vessel full of chemicals, and things can go awry there. And just like things can, go awry in your cardiovascular system, the brain is no different. And so it is important to give grace to people who are experiencing depression or anxiety, trauma, who have gone through trauma and are feeling the aftermaths of that.
I guess to kind of put pictures or mental images with that, you mentioned your knee and your torn meniscus, and there was obviously a knee brace, and you could see that there was an injury there. But mental health, I mean, it's not something that you can just visibly see. It's more of what's going on inside. So I think your cardiovascular is a good representation of that. But there's no stigma behind that. So it's just really interesting that mental health is one of those things, and maybe it goes back to generations before, saying dust yourself off and just keep going. So this being an important time, upcoming May is actually a month where we really focus on mental health awareness, isn't it?
It's Mental Health Awareness Month, absolutely.
So I guess that goes along with more about the destigmatization of things, having conversations. What would you say to someone who's still struggling with that, opening up to someone about their mental health issues?
I would remind people that the relationship with a therapist is confidential. So if you're not comfortable opening up to family, friends, others in your circle, work with a qualified mental health counselor. Everything that's said in the room will remain confidential. It is an extremely safe place to unpack what's going on and get some needed support. There's no need to suffer.
Very good information there. In our last minute or so here, anything else you'd like to share with us, Pam?
Well, you asked the question about the person who is experiencing something, and I just want to give a reminder to those who may not be dealing with a mental health concern personally, but might be concerned about someone they know and love. And I think it's always good to remind people it's okay to not be okay. And if you notice someone who's not themselves, gently and kindly ask them how they're doing. And if they are comfortable opening up, please refer them. Please let them know and remind them that help is available and affordable help is available.
If you'd like to find out more about Insight Counseling Centers, the website, pretty easy to remember, insightcounselingcenters.org. A lot of information there on the website, and I'm certain if someone wants to reach out to get something on the books, to schedule an appointment, they can do that in many different ways, but the website probably gives them a good introduction.
Yes, and I can also give the line for our intake department. It's 615-383-2115, extension 100.
Okay. I will add that to the podcast as well. So
Thank you.
615-383-2115, extension 100.
That's right.
Very good. Well, Pam, as always, it's great to have you stop by. We're kind of neighbors, just a couple of blocks over. So anytime we can be of service and help out Insight Counseling Centers, would love to do so.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Our guest today, again, Pam Brown, joining us from Insight Counseling Centers, and information about Insight online at insightcounselingcenters.org. And one more time, that phone number, 615-383-2115, extension 100. And if you didn't catch that, don't have a way to write that down, check the podcast at WGNSradio.com. Under podcasts, look for Rutherford Issues, or wherever you listen to audio, whether it's Spotify, Google, Apple Music, you can find us in those locations as well. Just click subscribe and you'll find us.
Greetings, friends. This is Lenny Farmer with the Jennings & Ayers Funeral Home in Murfreesboro.